TIFU by unknowingly going into a Friends with Bill W gathering. I am an 18-year-old male on a cruise with my family. Feeling sociable, I decided to attend a gathering under the impression, Friends with Bill W event, thinking it was a casual get-together for making new connections. Upon entering, I found only one person, a middle-aged woman who, despite the confusion, was sweet and welcoming. During our introductions, she proudly revealed her 31 years of sobriety. Though initially perplexed, I congratulated her on this impressive milestone. The situation took an unexpected turn when my mother called me over. As I approached, she asked if I knew what the gathering was, to which I replied in the negative. My mother then informed me that it was a support seminar for alcoholics. Instantly embarrassed, I excused myself and returned to the woman. Trying to leave without being rude, I expressed gratitude for our conversation and mentioned that I was going to go since there were only two of us. She understood, bidding me farewell with an encouraging, "Keep up the good work." My face turned red with embarrassment as I made my way to the bar. I'm an Aussie, so I can drink at 18. TLDR. On a cruise. Attended a Friends with Bill W gathering. Mistakenly thinking it was social. Discovered it was a support seminar for alcoholics and met a woman of 31 years sober who thought I was also a recovering alcoholic. Friend of Bill here. She was probably happy for the company and has her own funny story about you now. It's all good, bro. Just know you have a place to go if you ever do need it. I mistakenly attended an OA meeting while very pregnant with twins. The speakers were confusing, but I figured the topic of the week must have been nutrition. It wasn't until we all stood and recited the Serenity Prayer that I realized what was happening. The Mothers of Twins Club meeting started an hour later in the same room. Woman facepalming, medium light skin tone. I'm not a friend of Bill W, but I'm an alcoholic with 8 years sobriety. A few years ago my wife and I took a cruise, and I'll be honest, it was lonely to be the only sober person around me. I guarantee you made that woman happy to be talking to someone. At least you didn't offer her a drink. In my first year of sobriety I went on a cruise with my family. It was really challenging. That Friends of Bill W meeting saved my butt. Only one other guy showed up, ironically named Bill, and I swear he kept me sober that week. We'd meet every other day and hold a meeting. It was a godsend. Had a stranger walked in looking lost, we would have welcomed them for a chat or for a meeting. And sounds like you would have given us a good laugh. So you didn't. F you. Probably made someone's day actually. There used to be an Alano club in front of an apartment complex I lived at as a child. For some reason or another, a few friends and I decided to pop in there. Remember there being a pool table, bar with stools and lots of syrups behind the counter, golden tea arcade machine, and one of those barcade tabletop systems with a touch screen. They didn't seem bothered by us loitering, and I'd occasionally pop in to play touch air hockey on the barcade machine when I had some spare pocket change. When we asked what the place was, we were just told it was a place for meeting friends. My mother was absolutely horrified when she caught wind I was hanging out at a bar. Dragged me down there and demanded answers why they were letting children in. Then we learned that Alano was short for Alcoholics Anonymous. Things went well, and I remember some of our folks attending their cookouts as just a friendly neighborhood event kind of thing later on. Just FYI, don't go to a Friends of Dorothy meeting either unless you are gay. I guess you can go if you are straight, but just be aware of what it is. I once walked into a Klingon wedding at a Star Trek convention with a friend of mine. We were dressed as Federation officers. Both of us worked at the convention center. and we would routinely sneak into conventions we wanted to attend. Just so happened, our normal sneak-in route put us into a side convention hall that was rented out private party. It was the beginning of the convention, so we thought nothing of it since no meetings start 20 minutes after the convention opens. We were wrong. Real Klingon wedding, and we appear during the vows. This was a private event with no public access to convention attendees. Everyone thought it was scripted. Security, dressed as Klingons, asked us to find a seat. The whole group thought we were part of the wedding since we entered through a locked door. Everyone was in Klingon costume, and then our dumbasses dressed like Picard and Riker. Everyone kept looking at us trying to figure out what was going on. The whole ceremony was done in Klingon. The bride and groom kept doing their thing but then would stare at us like we were supposed to jump up and create a scene. They came up to us after the ceremony and about died laughing when we told them we snuck in and had no idea it was a Klingon wedding. They invited us to the reception, and we attended, because we were Trek nerds. We were really embarrassed, but it worked out. Someone showed us the wedding invite and it said in bold underlined text, "No Federation." Everyone assumed we were part of the show, and this wedding was crazy. This was 19,941,995 at the Long Beach Convention Center, and I regret nothing. In the early days of AOL chat rooms, I had a hard time understanding why Bill got his own chat room for all his friends listed on the main page. Friend of Bill here. My mom recently went on a cruise and knew this code from my experiences. So she went to see if anyone needed to chat. However, no one turned up. But it was the thought that counts. I'm sure this gal has a good story to tell her home group about when she returns. Tears of joy. Why do they call it Friends with Bill W? I'm an American, so I am familiar with Alcoholics Anonymous. Can some explain the name? Who's Bill W? Norwegian? So I was the same age, 18, and my roommate lost his license for DUI. As part of his court stuff, he had to attend meetings for 6 months or a year, or I don't remember. It was part of his probation stuff. If he didn't do it, he would have had to pay way more in fines and possible jail time. I may have been 18, but I looked more like I was 12. I hadn't gotten my last growth spurt, so I was still 4 feet 94 feet 10-ish tall. Definitely less than 5 feet by an inch or two, and I was less than 80 pounds. I was so thin. Plus I just look younger than I am. I keep hearing that sooner or later, I'll think it's a blessing. But IDK. So there's my roommate, a 24-year-old guy who looks older than 24. And then me. Plus everyone else at the meeting. In this room. And everyone sees me holding the car keys. I kept getting weird looks from all these people. They were probably trying to figure out how me and my roommate were related. Or if they needed to call the cops on me for being too young to drive. Neither of us had any experience with either. So when my roommate dragged me in with him for moral support, I just assumed I'd sit off to the side and read my book or something. No, they had all of us sit in a circle, introduce ourselves, and tell everyone why we were there. I thought they'd skip over me. Nope. Literally everyone stopped and waited for me to stand up and introduce myself. After I did, I guess it was the organizer's wife, or maybe one of the church members, came over and handed me a box of colored pencils and a coloring book. They didn't want me to be bored. We did end up getting stopped by the cops leaving the parking lot. So I guess someone called it in that I was the one driving. My roommate started going to a closer meeting that was right off campus, that I didn't have to drive him to. After that, so I never had to go back. But yeah, I got mistaken for a little kid at an AA meeting. Try Friends of Dorothy next time. Make new friends. No worries, bro. Hopefully you never attend another meeting in your life. But if you do, just know there are almost always super cool folks waiting if they're doing it right. Yes, we do. 26 years sober. I 100% have read this story before.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.